Yo, did you know Mars has a volcano that's 3 times the size of Mount Everest? Mars is also the home to the biggest canyon known to science. It's 4,000 kilometers long, which for my Canadians is the same distance between Montreal and Vancouver, which I just googled. It's a 45-hour and 44-minute drive. Unlike the other planets I went over in the last videos, this one has a normal day and night cycle like ours. You know, if you remember, Mercury had a 176 Earth day, and Venus had a 243 Earth day. This one though, Mars is 24 hours and 37 minutes. Their years are obviously different. They're quite far from Earth, especially very far out from the sun, which, if you know how years work, that's kind of the whole point. So their years are about 687 Earth days compared to our 356. No, it's 365. Right? Why do I know more about other planets than I know about Earth? I don't know why I had to look that one up, to be honest. That's very embarrassing, but yeah, I had to look that one up. There's dried riverbeds, lake beds, and things that only form when there's water there. So unless there was another liquid, like, they think there was actually oceans on Mars. But yeah, they can basically tell because of dry riverbeds, lake beds, and like minerals that only really form when there's water present for long periods of time. So either it once had water or it had other liquids, we don't know, but it could have been water. And I think they said something about finding water on Mars not too long ago, but that might have been a hoax. I didn't look into it, so don't quote me on that. But they definitely think they once had oceans on Mars. The atmosphere on Mars is only 1% of the thickness of the Earth's atmosphere. It's mostly made of carbon dioxide, and that means you couldn't breathe. Not only would you not be able to breathe, but because of the high amount of carbon dioxide, you would just, like, the water in you would just boil. So everything in you that's watery would, like, boil, and you would probably be very hurt. Mars also has 2 moons. One is called Phobos and one is called Deimos. They're very irregular in, like, their shape. It kind of shaped like potatoes. But yeah, they're probably captured asteroids. Mars also has dust storms that can engulf the entire planet. So for like weeks on end, you just wouldn't see anything at all without a flashlight. The red you see on Mars is actually just rust. It's a process called iron oxide, the same thing that makes metals here on Earth rust. But since Mars has iron in its soil, you can see it everywhere on the planet. Now to touch back on Valles Marineris, which is the canyon I was talking about earlier. I don't think I said the name, but yeah, that's Valles Marineris. It's also home to the biggest cliff, one of the biggest cliffs we've found in our solar system. It's 7,000 kilometers deep. So not only is it part of a 4,000 kilometer stretch, it's also 7,000 kilometers deep, which is wild. Guys, I just learned there's actually water on Mars, but it's frozen, so it has to thaw out. Mars also occasionally throws rocks at Earth, which is one of my favorite facts about space. Like, we've we've actually gotten rocks from Mars, and for some reason they just shoot it. Like, you know, obviously it goes everywhere into space, but it's just funny to think about our cosmic neighbors just bullying us every once in a while. Because of the gravity, it takes you about twice as long to fall when you're on Mars. And if you jump off of that big cliff I mentioned a few seconds ago, you would fall for a whole 61 seconds. A whole minute. Just thinking about it. Now, something less pleasant to think about is that Mars might be a shadow of the Earth's future. They think Mars used to be warm, wet, and Earth-like with oceans, rivers, thick atmosphere, but its magnetic field just collapsed one day. Well, that's gonna do it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, I'm sure you know me in person if you're watching this, but if you don't, please comment suggestions, you know, any questions you might have. I'd love to cover a subject, any subject you might have in mind. Like, I'm down to cover whales, man. I'll cover whales. I'll cover toothbrushes, the history of Google Chrome, the history of desks, the history of chairs, the history of rings, the history of anything. We'll do it, man. I'll make a whole video about it. I'll research it. We can learn together. But yeah, please subscribe. Please do it.